coming back to the green lighting of this because this color is provides a filter and this aura around the monsters in tonight's movie, Scooby-Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed. Now, as I mentioned, I've watched these a lot as a kid. They're iconic, and I remember liking them as a kid. We've already talked about the first one. So, was the second one better than I remember it being? Let's get into that. So this one sees the gang in Coolsville, and all of a sudden, monsters and strange occurrences are happening. All the while, Velma is going through like self-doubt when she goes on a date with a man named Patrick, and how Shaggy and Scooby have an arc about how they feel like they mess up, and how they don't belong in the gang. So right off the bat, the cast still they still do a great job. I just like loved some of the, like, one of the things that they did so well in this film was just so much facial feature. Like whenever you see Shaggy just all shocked, it just looks so cartoonish. It's a great example of a cartoon brought to life. It's not just Shaggy who also does it. Some of the other cast does it, like Fred, Velma, and Daphne. Freddie Prinze Jr., Sarah Michelle Gellar, are both great as Fred and Daphne. The chemistry is still very strong. Linda Cardellini's Velma, though, her role gets a bit more beefed up in this one than in the first. And, yep, I'm going there. Y'all may have seen it coming. This film gave us Jumpsuit Velma, which, if any of you guys look like that, call me. But seriously, like, her arc is really great. And, also, Seth Green as Patrick was also really, really good. I especially, like, I don't know, like, I just feel like this may just be, like, Seth Green's best performance. Like, there's so much emotion, like, whenever Patrick is with Velma. I really like that. And Green makes a lot of the moments feel so sincere and real. It's kind of like what Daphne described it. It's like human. Shaggy and Scooby's arc in here is also really good too. How they feel like they don't belong in the gang and how they keep messing things up. There are so many great moments like within this. I guess I'm just saying like so much, just like Shaggy. Probably because he was the one I loved the most as a kid. Like whenever they're by the pond, whenever they're with Velma and she gives them the control panel. Yeah. There was like one thing they should have kept in the film, but I'll get to that later. The monsters here are really good too. I especially love the 10,000 volt ghost, who is voiced by D. Bradley Baker. I just love it. It's such a great performance. Some of the other monsters, their designs were fine. Like, I wish they kind of could have kept like the original Black Knight design with the 3 lines and the red ponytail thing, or how they should have made the tar monsters eye more green, just like in the original. But, I'm not complaining. The skeleton guys, though, you can definitely tell they're like the minions of the movie. How they're the ones, they're the more comic relief type monsters. And there's not much to say for the others, like the zombie or minor 49er in here. But like the real villain, I'll get to him in a bit. David Newman's score is also something great that was carried over from the previous film into this. I just love the little motifs that he does for the mystery gang. And this film just has so many iconic moments. We already mentioned jumpsuit Velma, but moments like Shaggy and Scooby eating the cotton candy glob, the chase with the pterodactyl ghost, Daphne fighting the Black Knight in the final battle, and especially Fred jousting with the Black Knight ghost and putting on his ascot like a badass, will never not be iconic. Oh, and same thing when Shaggy turns into a woman, then Scooby turns into the Tasmanian Devil, and then Shaggy's this buff. Yeah, that buff. Now, just like the first film, it's not perfect. One, I feel like the main villain of this one just didn't really get to do all that much. He just stood there. I'm sorry. He just kind of stood there to like say Mystery Inc. and all. But he never like kind of contributes much. He's just kind of there. It seems like they're putting more focus on the like the original monsters, which, hey, I'm not complaining about. It's really great to see them here in like a theatrical quality and in live action. But for the villain who is like behind all this, they should have used him a bit more. Maybe like they could have used him a bit more in like the final battle where he tries to go head to head with the gang. I kind of would have liked that. Let's see, what else? Oh yeah, some of the CGI, just like the first film, some of it doesn't look that good to today. Like you can definitely tell Matthew Lillard's head was just green screened onto like a woman's body. And some of the motion blur, I don't know. All I know is that there was some CGI that didn't look that good, but there were some CGI that did look good, like Scooby. Like his CGI in the first film and this film are both really good, and they don't look that bad. Oh yeah, remember how I mentioned like with Shaggy and Scooby's arc there was one scene that was taken out, or how there was something I wish they would have kept? Well, it was the scene like that showed Shaggy just talking to Scooby and how like he never viewed him as a screw up. They both shared a Scooby snack. It's so emotional and sincere, and it was brought to life so beautifully by Matthew Lillard's Shaggy and Neil Fanning's Scooby. I mean, I like the one we got in the final version with Velma in there too, but I also kind of would have liked it if they kept this one in, because it just felt a bit more. It felt a bit more emotional. But hey, at least we were able to see that deleted scene. There was also a bit of filler with Shaggy and Scooby when they were at Wickles' mansion, how it keeps cutting from the gang to Shaggy and Scooby, which I get, but I don't know, it didn't seem to like need to be there. I'm sure there are some other issues I had, but I can't think of them at the moment because like the good still like easily outweighs the bad. But yeah, like I had a really good time with this. But like even though I prefer the first film a bit more than this, it's just still a nice fun visit down memory lane. Kind of sad that this one didn't do well and that we didn't get that third one that James Gunn mentioned. Cuz like I really like these films and I really like this cast. They perfectly embody Mystery Inc. But imagine this. What if like for like an anniversary special or like if they're going to do a new animated theatrical film, what if they just brought back Freddie Prinze Jr., Sarah Michelle Gellar, Linda Cardellini, Neil Fanning to do like an to voice the characters in animation? Because obviously they're a bit too old to play the characters like in live action, but wouldn't that be so cool to like have them return to these characters again? I'd definitely be down with that, especially because Matthew Lillard is now the current voice actor of Shaggy. You've got to be like that good to be able to play a character in both live action and animation. Like the only other person that I know who also did that was Kevin Conroy as Batman. Oh yeah, before I end, there's also some other things to know. So like in the early 2000s, a lot of kids' family films ended with dance scenes. We had three ones in 2004 that ended with one. Scooby-Doo 2, Shrek 2, and Shark Tale. Both were released in 04, as I mentioned, but they both started with S. Was that a coincidence? I don't know. I'll leave that to you guys to decide. And how in 2004, the Mystery Machine's roles was also beefed up. Like how in this film we get to see it a lot more since we didn't get to see much of it in the first film, and how in Scooby-Doo and the Loch Ness Monster they used it a lot and was involved in most of the chase scenes, and it really did a lot that year. But yeah, comic question: do you think Coolsville sucks? But yeah, it was really fun to revisit this one. Yeah, would love to see both of these movies get like some 4K Blu-ray release someday.